Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I'm your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels. Today we are assembling the They All Fall Down box for the Outcast and Guild faction. The box contains 3 miniatures, 2 masters, and a shared keyword model. First one being Hamelin the Piper, this gentleman here. Disease Containment Unit, the lady with the burn mask. And Dashel Barker, Butcher, Mr. Dual Wielding himself. That is the artwork. Renders on the back. Hamelin with his smoky pipe. Disease Containment Unit with a fairly static pose. And a Dashel Barker just flailing. Let's look at the sprue. Pretty simple stuff overall. We've got Hamelin down here with like 7 bits. Our Disease Containment Unit up here with 8, I think. And then Dashel with another 8. So not a ton of bits for these miniatures. This video should go pretty quick. Let's look at the instructions for Hamelin and then get started on his sprue. For our boy Hamtaro, I'll grab A for the body and then do the right side of the coat, which is A7. And then left side, which is A2. After that, we will set the satchel with the rats on it, A1. Do the neck and head, A5. Followed by the arms, A6. And finish with the hat, A3. So let's grab A4 and A7 first. Here's A4. A7 is going to fit right along the right side of the body. Now A2 is going to glue right against that piece as well as the left side of the coat. Seamless good. Now let's do A1, which will fit right on this connection point for the previous bit. It is supposed to be sort of sticking out away from the coat, at least the bottom part is, because the rat in the back has his tail that is a part of another bit. So make sure his butt is right up against the back of the coat. All right, now let's add A5, the head and neck. There's the head. Make sure that this is a connection point on the top of the head, so don't shave it too much. It'll be needed for the hat. Now let's do A6, the arms which are holding up the flute. Looks good. Now A3, the hat, and we're done. I'm not sure if you can see this, but as far as figuring out the orientation of the hat, if you look at the top of the head, not including the big peg connection point, there's a ridge, very small ridge going right about here. That's more towards the back of the head than the front. And there is a corresponding ridge on our hat, which again, I'm not sure if you can see, but it's like right there. So you can see that there is more connection point down here than up here. So this part would be the back of the head. And so this would be the front brim of the hat. So this is just going to flip over like this. And then we'll just put it on his head. But, with like plastic cement. So all that, and it's probably easier just to say, there's more brim on one side than the other. The more brim side is towards the back of the head. But he's done. Put him on a base. Hamelin the Piper is done. Fairly easy model overall. Hardest parts for assembling him is probably the assembly order, knowing you need to put the head and neck on, then the arms, then the hat, as well as figuring out the orientation of the hat. But pretty easy overall, so let's move on. The Disease Containment Unit is next, and I don't think heals are very useful for containing diseases. We'll start by grabbing D7, the front part of the body, and we'll jab D1 and D2, the legs, into it. Then we will combine D3 and D6 together, and then glue those to the first part, which was these 3 models. Once we have a body established, we'll go ahead and add a tank to the back, the mask to the face, and finish with the arm and fumigator. I think that's a fumigator. Alright, so grab D7, D1, and D2. Oh, and let's look at the instructions. Here is D7. Now, turn it around, we can see the slots for the legs, those pegs going up in here. I believe D1 is our left leg. It is the one with the larger connection point on the thigh, and it should just be able to get up in there and almost stick without glue. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, now let's add D2 in there. The right leg. Both legs are in, nice and flush. And we're gonna go ahead and set this bit down, and we'll grab D5 and add D3 to it. A5, A3 is going to fit right inside of it on these two pill-shaped connection points. There we go. Now we can go ahead and put our previous combination of bits right on top of this to make ourselves a body. Okay. I might do a little bit to close up that gap on the side, but that's more or less done. So our last few bits, we will go ahead and add the canister on the back, D8, the mask on the face, D6, and then the left arm and fumigator, D4. We're going to turn her onto her back, and we will put a 8 back here, like so. Right, now let's do the bird mask, A6, gonna just go right in the face. And bird mask slid in without too much issue. Now A4, the left arm, and we can call it good. Alright, she's done. Put her on a base. The disease containment unit is completed. Also another easy model. The most difficult part for her is maybe figuring out which leg goes in which slot, as well as pressing the mask into the face hole. And that's me reaching for a difficulty there. Overall, quite easy. Let's hope the last one's easy too. Let's move on. So for Dashel Barker, we are going to grab the back and front half of the upper torso, combine both of them, and then add them on top of the belly and the right leg, this bit right here. I think then we can combine two halves of the left leg, which would be a B3 here and B8 over here, then add that to where the leg would normally go, cover that up on the back side with the back of the coat, and then we can finish off with B1 the right arm and B2 the left arm. So let's look at the instructions and then grab ourselves B6 and B7. There's B6, the back of the upper torso. Adding B7, the front part of the upper torso. Now we've got an upper torso. Okay, re-looking at the minis and the bits, I think we actually need to add B5 at the back of the coat first. You can see the connection point right there. I think that's where our tooth is on the coat. Yeah, you can see that same tooth going right there. So let's add that. Okay. Seam looks great from all sides. Now let's actually add B5, the tummy and leg. Cool. All right. Now we'll go ahead and grab the thigh B3, slap the foot B8 on it, and then add that leg to his body. There's B3. You can see the plug where B8 fits in. Add that now. Put pressure on it and it will squish into place, so you shouldn't need to worry about orientation. Alright, now let's add that to our body. Panicked there for a second because I thought it wouldn't fit, but turns out I just need to put a little bit of pressure to it and it'll pop in. Alright, let's wrap him up. Let's do B1 at the right arm. Cool. Now B2 the left arm. Oh, this will rotate pretty freely, so you're just going to have to align it with how it is in the render / instructions, or just go crazy and shatter his forearm. I don't care. He's done. Put him on a base. Dashel Barker Butcher is done. The hardest part for this model was figuring out the order of assembly on the lower half, as well as getting the rotation of the left arm figured out. That is to say, slightly difficult for me, fairly easy for you, since you have these instructions. Yet another assembly, another easy assembly for an easy box. Now let's look at the whole thing. The They All Fall Down box is completed, containing Hamelin the Piper, Disease Containment Unit, and Dashel Barker Butcher. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. And overall, quite a simple box. Happy to build these ones on occasion, so I don't go completely mad. Probably the easiest thing involving Hamelin that I can think of. Hardest part, really, I guess, would be assembly orders. Hamelin's order as well as Dashel's order, but nothing to do with actual bits getting into places. Really enjoyable. And some pretty models outside of Dashel gleefully skipping, or whatever he's doing. Anyways, I've been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrel, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good day, and wash your hands.